Greetings folks, this is Showa60 and today I am showing you Metal Gear Rising Revengeance Limited Edition for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Now, some things you really need to know about this particular version of the game. Unlike the other Japanese version that released prior, this one is region free. That's right, for those of you who, as much as you love hearing Raiden's voice in English, but want to hear it in Japanese, get the limited edition. Another notable contrast is that all of the DLC in that game, well, in this version, is free. The only downside to that is that this game is heavily censored. In other words, the violence is toned down. I mean, you get to see stuff get chopped off and all that, but at the same time, you're going to see a lot of white stuff come out of people. Well, mostly the cyborgs and robots in this game. Also, a lot of the violence is toned down, so if you, yeah, you're looking at a two-edged sword here. Now, on the subject of DLC, you're looking at Raiden's red armor. And I've long since gotten other armor DLC for this game, which is rather cool. So, if you're like me and you have the limited edition, you can use that voucher that they have in the game package, well, in the jewel case, and go to the PSN site. Well, only in the Japanese stores, of course. And get yourself some awesome DLC. And it's not just armor you can get for free, but you can also get, like, alternate weapons. Well, most notably, the Heavy Damashi, which has Snake's Japanese voice. And every time you slice an enemy, get hit, or things like that, or come across some random stuff in the game, while equipping the Heavy Damashi, Snake will give you some very sound philosophical advice, which is a lot better than all those axioms and quotes that you find on Facebook and all that. Yeah, those are rather petty and pathetic. Can't stand those. They really piss me off. But about censorship, this is what I'm talking about. If you pay close attention to all that white stuff coming out, which is hard to do considering that you're in the sewers full of water and all that, you notice that there's this white stuff in the place of blood. Yeah, this is proof enough that this is the Japanese version. Next time I do a LP of this game, I'll probably show you the North American version and start comparing. Well, with my experience playing this game, I can clearly say that despite this being developed by Platinum Games, this is an inherent Metal Gear game at heart, because I always find myself having to hide from enemies part of the time. I mean, I know that's like the inherent charm of the Metal Gear games, where you have to go through various challenges without being detected too much. But I find it kind of surreal. And to be clearly honest, as much as I respect the Metal Gear franchise, it's not a game that I tend to play easily. Now, the games I did play that were not Metal Gear Rising was Metal Gear Solid back on the PlayStation 1, which was played through a demo. Then there was Metal Gear Acid 2 for the PlayStation Portable. I played a little bit of Peace Walker, which was alright. And I've noticed a couple of things. I don't know, I guess espionage wasn't my thing. But at the same time, it really gets you on your toes. It really forces you to keep your eyes open and strategize and use the surroundings to your advantage, which is kind of a plus to a certain extent. And as you can see, I am using Mistral's weapon, which is kind of cool. Really gets the job done. I don't like it bends too much, but considering its uniqueness, it's not something worth cursing about. So it's kind of a mixed bag with me. Also, you're about to see some badassery later on in this video as well. Now, when I saw a lot of reviews for this game, many people commented on the parrying system in Metal Gear Rising, which is completely broke as all fuck. I mean, seriously, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike wouldn't allow for this. And this is me playing this game like a complete dumbass. And we're about to go through a cutscene right here. A lot of you who have the North American game should be familiar with this one. Oh God. Those hands say hi. Oh, now, on the subject of the North American version, I've been hearing this a lot, especially since I own the Wonderful 101 as well, that the voice actor for Raiden in the North American version of this game also is the voice actor for Prince Forkin. And the game has made a couple of jokes on this. And I'm not talking about Metal Gear Rising, I'm talking about the Wonderful 101. There have been rumors going around that there have been jokes circling the voice actor. Which comes to no surprise since Platinum Games is known for making references to other games in their catalog. Like Bayonetta, Beautiful Joe, Okami, God Hand. I can go on. Here I am, unable to target their electrolytes. Sorry, at the time that I've been playing this particular part of the game, I have not been looking at the strategy guides from Sori and Dash. So please forgive me on that one. So yeah, I'm about to... Oh. Ow. And here I was talking about how broken the parrying system was. Okay, there we go. Okay, why are you not dead yet? I don't even know. Okay, there we go. Mmm, tasty. Of course, in any version of Metal Gear Rising, the side stories were also considered free. Like Blade Wolf and Jetstream Sam. The only two side stories that you get to play as via the DLC. You speak English? Oh, God. Hearing these guys hearing them talk about English dialogue in a game, in the Japanese version, kind of seems awkward. Kind of like that one episode of Revengeance when, if you were to watch the series in English, them talking about thought patterns in Japanese and German just sounds very awkward since it's being dubbed in English. You would have thought that they said, "You're thinking in English, think German." Or any language depending on the dub. I don't know, I'm just talking out of my ass right now. One thing that the English version does get points on is the accent that this little kid has. But one other thing I like about Metal Gear is that it's a game made by Japanese developers that pretty much is down to earth to an extent, talking about current events and stuff in a world just so whimsical. You rarely get those types of games being ported into the US or Europe for that matter. Most games from Japan, I mean, they're not bad or anything. I mean, I love them, to be honest. I'm not above pointing out that you don't get many video games like Metal Gear or things of that nature. You get some of those completely niche games, which are cool, but at the same time, not for everybody. But if you want my personal opinion, which I'm sure a vast majority of the people on YouTube do not, I like this kid's Japanese voice a lot better than the one in the North American version. I mean, I know they were going for realism in terms of his accent, since he's Guyanese. But Jesus Christ. I guess as far as the experience goes, for me personally, playing this game in Japanese, in terms of language-wise, in language dubbing, is kind of like watching an American movie dubbed in Japanese, which is also kind of fun. Also speaking of, I have the Japanese versions of Japanese dubs of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Django Unchained. They're really a blast to watch in that language. And I guess I should just tell you the real reason why, so most of you won't pull the whole weeaboo stamp. Mainly because I practice Japanese on a regular basis. If I'm unable to find the time to study Japanese, then I have an app on my phone that allows me to do so. I have a Japanese-English dictionary in case I want to learn something. But lately I have been taking notes, which helps me experience a lot of things without subtitles and stuff. For the most part, I've been watching like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider episodes with no form of subtitles at all. And even if I do come across such, I tend to ignore the subs. It's just so I can feel out the experience for myself. When playing the Wonderful 101, I would play it in Japanese with the subtitles in the same language. Why is that? Maybe because I'm a masochist when it comes to this language. I really am trying my best to master it. But I would recommend that you use every single source possible, and ooh, ADD alert. Bonus mission. I'll get to that later, but yeah. I do recommend that you use every source you can find. Whether it be books, an unsubbed anime, if you have a smartphone, download some inputs from your marketplace, because in all actuality they're for free, which is also a definite plus. Of course, how I'm doing things these days, GameStop's going to be my worst enemy. It is unintentional. Now then. But yeah, the VR missions. You're about to see the fanboy in me when it comes to this. When I think of these, I think of the 36 Chambers of Beautiful from Beautiful Joe 2. It's like you randomly find these secret missions, these submissions on site. And when you go to them, they are hard as all balls. I mean, you go into them guns blazing, and as soon as you get your ass handed to you in these VR missions, you're like, holy fuck, what is all this? I'm pretty sure Blade Wolf and Gesture Sam have a couple of random VR missions as well within their side stories. So you have that. Yeah, these guys. These gorilla motherfuckers over here. They have become my worst enemy ever since I played this game. Ooh, treasure box. And more weapons that I hardly ever use. More weapons and items that I hardly use in a Platinum game title. Unless I am utterly desperate. Or unless I'm really thirsty. Because when it comes to like extremely hard boss fights or in Revengeance mode, the thirst is real. But enough about thirsty ass motherfuckers. Let's talk about trying to kill these fucking monkeys. And I'm pretty sure that sounded racist. Yeah, those were a bitch to kill, and I'm pretty sure I'll do much better than what I'm doing right now. Or than what I was doing. Since I'm just speaking over the gameplay footage I've recorded like months ago. Haha, lightning kick with a blade. And followed by a broke ass parrying system. I'm telling you, this shit is broke as all hell. I see why these critics have been bad-mouthing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun, but at the same time, it's too goddamn easy. Ow. Yes. Got one of them. And since we're on the subject of overpowered concepts, let's talk about this whole pulling electrolytes out of enemies. In this game, when you finish these fuckers off, you go into Zandatsu mode, where everything is in slow motion, and you're focused on slicing the enemy in pieces. And there's like this red square in the middle, which signifies where you should be slashing them. Then they give you a button to press, so it's almost kind of a QTE or quick time event. As soon as that button flashes yellow, that's your cue to pull something out of them. And that really finishes the enemy off. Unless you're dealing with bosses. They're a different story. There are instances where you might end up chopping off the left hand of certain enemies, and they are very essential for later on in the fight. At the very real start of the game, like in your first mission, like in your first real mission, that's when Doctor talks about the use of your chopped up left hands from enemies. Well, god damn it. In all honesty, I can't really do well with stealth games, or any game that focuses on stealth. Let me give you a little testimony. Like, say, there are certain parts of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, which was tough as all hell to complete. By the way, because back then I didn't have the strategy guide. Or not only that, they didn't have YouTube back then, when the original Wind Waker came out. But here's my point. When I got my hands on Wind Waker, there was this one part of the game where I had to sneak my way in this dungeon of some sort. And whenever I was caught, I was always getting my ass beat. And they send me back to the very place where I started. Yeah, case in point, it was so nerve-wracking to deal with. Having to try and get through the dungeon and get what I was trying to get without being detected. It was really ridiculous. And since we're talking about, and since this is a Let's Play commentary series circling on a Metal Gear game, let's talk about the other Metal Gear game that I played on the PlayStation Portable called Metal Gear Acid 2. That game was surprisingly interesting to me. I've never played a Metal Gear game that I have enjoyed up until Acid 2. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pissed off playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater and Guns of the Patriot, in which Metal Gear Rising takes place a couple of years after the events of that game. And look at Boris all impressed and shit. Moving on. But yeah, Metal Gear Acid 2. I really enjoyed that game. And it had two gaming concepts that I rarely enjoy or talk about as a positive. Card battle concepts and espionage or covert operations and things of the nature. It's like, really? I have to go through so much of this bullshit just to get from point A to point G? Fuck you mean I have to go in this bitch without being detected? But yeah, case in point, even though it was a card-based strategy game, even though it was that, it kept me going back, mainly because the cards were awesome. That and they had Solid Eye Theater. Now, since we're on the subject of Metal Gear Acid 2, if you're a fan of Metal Gear Acid, and if you're a fan of Super Sentai, you should be familiar with this Japanese actress and model by the name of Ayumi Kinoshita, who's already married and is, at this point, pregnant. Or probably has a child, I don't know. But case in point, Ayumi Kinoshita. Some of you might know her as Deca Yellow. Others might know her as the dinosaur Dopant from Kamen Rider Double. And others might know her as No-san's or Kyoryu Blue's sister from Kyoryuger. She's in Metal Gear Acid. They actually have videos about it as well, floating around YouTube. And I suggest you go looking for them. Or if you still have a copy of Metal Gear Acid 2 and a PSP, and I preferably recommend a 1000 model, play the game. And if you've already gone through the game and beaten it, son of a fuck. Anyway, if you have Solid Eye Theater, there should be some gravure videos which contain Japanese models. One of them being Deca Yellow, of course. Those are the ones I tend to look for. And that was one of the cool things about Metal Gear Acid. It had some of these weird cards that you can use for Solid Eye Theater. Ooh, I got a trophy. And it's bronze is all hell. Moving on. Now, with that, there was like tons of Gravure Idol cards. There were some cards that featured used and unused cutscenes for Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. You had cards from other Konami games. You had cards from Zone of the Enders and whatnot. A lot of cool stuff. Not to mention a couple of other weird shit too. Hell, you even had cards from Sons of Liberty and the earlier Metal Gear titles, including the unreleased Metal Gear 2, and not that bullshit sequel that was released for American audiences on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Haha. Camouflage doesn't mean jack dick. But then there's those goddamn cameras. can't stand those damn cameras. You end up in their line of sight and you're pretty much butt fucked. But yeah, you want to know what I hate more than cameras? Those CCTV cameras? CCTV cameras with gun turrets. You're probably wondering why I'm going through various parts of this game interface like a retard. Trust me, I'm like this with the North American version. Which I already have. Ah. So basically, at the end of the day, I have the best of both worlds. If I want blood and guts, I have the North American version, and if I want to hear the characters' voices in Japanese, I have the Japanese version. I'm very glad Konami made the choice of releasing a region-free limited edition, which was all matters of badassery. Speaking of, we're almost to that badass point of Metal Gear Rising. Practically the only badass thing I've ever done in this game. Haha, I escaped their line of vision. Suck on that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the North American version of the game, you should know what that means. I'm afraid I cannot translate this for you. Not that I can't or anything. I mean, I'm not trying to bullshit you. It's just that if you have this game, you should know where I'm at. Nothing against any of you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare and witness one of the most badass moments I've ever done in a video game. In years. Surprise! Hello. How are you? Shouldn't you be spewing out blood? Oh well, doesn't matter, you're dead. Oh, and this one. Oh my god. It's not murdering if you're your own surprise. But the badassery won't be able to last forever. Which is a damn shame. Cinematography behind this particular cutscene is actually rather nice. But here's the disturbing part about this. Oh, spoilers, by the way. All those brains over there, they're actually little children. So basically, this is the part where Raiden's like, gotta do it for the children. Why? Because Raiden loves the children. But for a more serious elaboration, I think I should give you Raiden's backstory. Raiden is actually an African kid. Well, he was an African dude. And for some of you uncultured individuals out there, yes, that's possible. But hear me out. Raiden was used as a weapon of destruction. He was trained to be a ruthless killer over in Africa. I think it was called the White Lightning Bolt. But please do not take my word for it, especially if you're a hardcore Metal Gear fan. But to sum it up, he was used as a tool for destruction. But the perks behind it was he got to live a normal life by the time he became an adult. Of course, that didn't last very long. And now, the mission that he's undergoing is a stark reminder of the training courses that he had to deal with, and all those missions that he had to put up with as a young kid. This affected his entire life. It even affected his relationship. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but if you played like Metal Gear Solid 4, it's a strong indication that Raiden was married and he had a child. And in the bonus, and in that extra ending in Metal Gear Solid 4, there's a scene with him where he finds out that the little kid that is alongside the girl that he liked, that was next to his significant other, was actually his biological son. And according to this particular game that I was playing, according to that particular game, this particular game, they're married, they're family and all that. Yeah. So, there's that. I think I've overstayed my welcome with the whole commentary thing, but, yeah. I'm very glad that you guys liked what you saw. I mean, if you really did like what you saw, then like, shoot a comment, share it with your friends and all that. You know the whole deal. So, I'll be back next time with some more Let's Play footage and some commentary. So, with that, this is Showa60 saying, Johnny, see you later.